Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LZ Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering Belle Collective Birmingham. This is season 1, episode 2. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, share. You can also subscribe to my channel if you are new and leave your comments below. Let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so I just finished my mid-season finale episode of Belle Collective Jackson. Y'all go check that out. There's so many videos that are happening right now. I'll soon have Divorced Sisters is back on Paramount Plus this time. So watch out for that. I have a returning series that came back on, The Love and the Heartless. That'll be coming out this weekend. I'm going to try my best to do a Beyond the Gates recap because it's been about a month since I've done anything with that show. And look out for Love and Marriage Huntsville on tomorrow. And look out for The Real Housewives of Atlanta and The Real Housewives of New Jersey on tomorrow/Monday. So again, let's get into this episode. So we start where we left off in last week's episode with Amber and Kayla. Amber finally confronts Kayla on the awkwardness that's going on and you not saying hello. She says that there is an obvious awkwardness and a step overlooking problem that Kayla has. And Kayla's like, huh? We get in a confessional and Amber's like, there's two occurrences of when she came in, she didn't speak. And then when they were at the bar, she didn't speak. Now, it's much better to get you when you first come in the door because, hey, you know, but I don't see you ever, Amber, making any type of effort to say hello to her. What's up with that? You know, last week I just really said what was going on. Other people have already made their opinions. If you watched other content creators, and shout out to them all. I was like, well, I just need a little bit more because you're quite adamant on Kayla and her not really acknowledging you. It's like, are you a pick me? What's up? Kayla says that I always make it a point to say hello and make people feel loved. That's not my personality whatsoever. Amber says that it's a pattern. But basically they squashed it and they're just going to leave it up that there's no problem. And Stormy said, let's all do lunch. And we can just kind of just do a restart in this whole situation. From the trailer, it looks like that there's more to it, but I don't know why Amber didn't want to get into it. But hey, we need something to carry this season. Other things are carrying, but I'm just saying in regards to whatever's going with that storyline. Right now, Amber, you flopped because I really don't know what the issue is. And again, there's got to be a mutual type of hello or some type of greeting. It's not all on Kayla. Yes, it's appropriate for her to say something to you when she comes in the door. Anyways, we move on. The party continues and all that. We move on to, I guess, the next day. Tiffany and Willie, that's her husband, they go to a venue. It's a place for them to have game night, and she's so excited for game night. She talks about the campus beauty party that happened, and she just thinks that Stormy, everything was just very phenomenal. Tiffany summarizes their businesses and very excited about launching their webpage and products, and it's called Choosing. Okay, I guess we'll get more insight later on. Tiffany decides that this is the moment to talk with Willie about expanding their family. She wants another child. Right now they got 3. And remember last week she said that she had a blended family. Now there's a breakdown as to what's up. Tiffany has daughter Zoe. Willie has a child named Tyus. And 2-year-old Knox. Willie's not feeling another child. And he really wants to get a vasectomy. I said, ooh, wow. Tiffany's really adamant that she wants this other child. I don't know if she wants someone as a playmate for Knox because the other children are in a different age group right now. They're like, what, preteen or a little bit less than preteen, but you know, they're already in school and you have Knox here by himself. I think she wants a girl, possibly, but I don't know what it is, but he wants a vasectomy. Like, it's not even a no. When a man wants a vasectomy, that means he's really done. And I've got some thoughts later on that I'll discuss as Tiffany starts telling us a little bit more about their background. But anyway, she's like, well, please be willing to reconsider. And he says, it's a no. All right. Fumi, she's having a get together with all of the ladies. She has created small bites from her culture and has added caviar. She says the life is too short to be eating biscuits and gravy every day. So you might as well try some caviar. I have never had caviar. It's fish eggs, but people like it. I've seen people have it on potato chips as of recently, maybe a cracker or something like that. I haven't had it, but I heard it's very salty. Stormy is the first to arrive. After they greet each other and all that, they get into the party and start talking about the ladies, and specifically Tiffany. She says that she didn't feel that Tiffany was very welcoming. Amber arrives, and Fumi says the same thing. Of course, they show her around and all that good stuff. Now, I didn't see anyone come with a gift. Now, I'm just making a note right then and there. But anyways, when Amber arrives, also, Fumi says, Tiffany wasn't that welcoming, and she's shocked by that because she knows her friend, basically. She's shocked by the cold shoulder that she seemed to have been getting. And then Tiffany arrives. But guess what? When she arrives and comes into the kitchen, of course, Stormy has Trey. And guess what happens? He didn't bark with Fumi. He didn't bark with Amber. Probably not Amber because Amber is at least more around. Guess who he barked at? Tiffany. They're in their confessional because they're saying things future tense, but obviously there is a connection between this dog and knowing what's going on. Stormy's like, well, I think I trust Trey with as far as evil spirits and all that stuff. So let's see what's up. Kayla arrives and Sonetta arrives. I think she's like the friend of the show, but also is Tiffany's friend. As everyone's gathered around to start eating, she says, have fun. I have clothes here and for you to shop. So this is a really good venue that Fumi has organized together. Eat, shop. They're going to play dress up a little bit. We'll get to that in just a second. But I was like, okay, Fumi has some great ideas and actually is thinking outside of the box that you don't see at a lot of these events that you see on reality TV. I love that that's her creativeness coming up out of her. So as far as caviar, Fumi wants everyone to try caviar, so they get a bump, or what they call a dollop, and they're just supposed to like that. Of course, Stormy is hesitant on doing that. She said, look, I'd rather have some neck bones, some pig ears. I never had pig ears before, or some chitterlings. I've had a chit or two. Not that much, but the person that made them can cook it and cook it well, so I didn't have a problem with it. So I have tasted a chit or two. Tiffany puts it in her mouth and she's so slow to swallow. There were some jokes or innuendos about swallowing, what, as far as how can I say this? How can I say this? No, let me just male sperm. I can't really, whatever. Of course they start asking, y'all swallow, and Tiffany's like, no, I don't do that. I'm saying it in my way because it kind of was like, I'm churchified. She didn't put a stink face on it, but she put a little arrogance to it and was like, no, I don't swallow. But she says that I do a lot of other things to make sure that my husband is satisfied. Well, what does your husband do for you? I kind of hate that when I hear that out of women's mouths, because it's always in that way, like you're in some type of way, because of the submissive role that women are to be in a heterosexual relationship. Submission. Look, it don't matter male or female, there's always going to be a stronger person within the marriage. Now, as far as the patriarchy is designed, it's supposed to be the man. It may not be always that. That doesn't make the male less of a man. It's just a personality. There's always a stronger person in all that. And really, we should be submitting to one another. But there's always a leader within a relationship, no matter what. Hands down. But it just, how does he satisfy you? Fumi says, I want a new house, so I'm swallowing. I'm definitely swallowing. That right there won me over. I tweeted this and I said, let it be known, and I'm paraphrasing, I stand Fumi. I said, yep, I love her. No, It's not even about what comes out later in this episode. I said, yep. I love her. I love her sense of humor. I just love her hospitality. I love her wit, her spunk, and all of that. And I love it all. I love her confidence. All that. So, yep, I'm standing Fumi. So Fumi brings up to Tiffany as they're now eating, I heard that you have a thing and I'm not invited. I didn't get an invite. She says, well, I do couples things, and that's probably why you didn't get an invite. I guess Fumi's husband is gone, and that's why she didn't get it. Then it was later spoken that I guess Amber don't have no man, and she's going to be hosting, so there's no man that's coming. So she's the host. And Stormy's coming without her husband, and I guess she's going to watch the door. So then Fumi said, I would like to get an invite. And then Tiffany said, yeah. I'm like, Lord Jesus. Oh, she said, I would like to come. And that's it. Then they start talking about Kayla, about if she's coming or not. Well, she says she's not married. And then I think Fumi was like, oh, that wasn't your husband that came in? She's like, no, this is someone new. And then it was this awkward silence because they all kind of thought it was. And the reason they thought it was because I think that they knew that Kayla had an older man as a husband. And now you have another older man. I get it, but whatever. At the same point. So, after the women are done eating, Fumi has a photographer there, and she has some clothes for the women to model. She has a brand deal with, I'm going to say Felice. I don't think I'm saying it right, but Fellis. And all the ladies take their turn walking down the runway in this attire. I thought that was a cute way to sport what you have going on and continue your brand deal. Fumi is doing it right already. She knows what to do as her being an influencer and all that good stuff. She's even helping, in a way, move a story along. She knows these ladies just seem to be not afraid of the camera and just know their places and know what to do and all that. I'm loving y'all thus far. So they do that. They go do the walkway thing. Fumi thinks that Stormy had the best walk. And she said, well, she had the dog with her, and we kind of kindred spirits as how to see things, basically alluding to stuff with Tiffany. Stormy did say, oh, Trey barely barks at anyone. Anyways, after they're done with the modeling, Stormy invites all the ladies to their TikTok live. And then somehow Stormy started talking about Tiffany's viral proposal moment that has a lot of question marks. And a lot of the ladies are just like, ain't my business. I have questions, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So what's really going on? She said that how this viral moment happened, or this proposal happened, she was planning a birthday surprise for her husband, inviting all of his friends in. And this was the same time that he was going to propose to her. Willie was going to propose to her. She went on to say that she already had a dress on layaway. And this was after her best friend had got engaged, and her best friend was shopping for wedding dresses. So she put one to the side. But here's the kicker. They hurried up and got married, and she claims that on their honeymoon, she got pregnant. And all I could think about is, now, Phaedra, when's your due date? Tiffany, when was your due date? My spidey senses are saying Tiffany was having premarital sex, and I'm gonna say got knocked up, hurry up and rush with this wedding thing, somehow got viral, but it never hit my algorithm. Stormy acknowledges it, cool. But I'm like, really? It sounds like Black and Cheryl from Love and Marriage DC, without the pregnancy part, where the husband planned a whole wedding for her, and theirs went viral. Now, I didn't see that either, but that was like over a decade ago. And it's on the YouTube right now. I said, okay. Okay, yeah, so that's what it sounded like to me. But the other folks have just decided to not make their comments because none of it's making sense as how she's trying to tell it. But that's what I've come up with. And now you're trying to, with this wedding, cover up, and then, oh, we got pregnant on my honeymoon. No, you didn't want to look a certain way in front of your church folk. Now, most people just shut up and do things quiet. But obviously, I would love, There's a lot of pride within you, and you had to really do it big to make, because of however you're seen within the community. So if you're doing this, I can see that you're quite outrageous and I mean, you were lying, but I think that you could really be a good liar in your stories and all of that. That's what I'm picking up thus far. What do y'all think, y'all? Tiffany now has to leave to pick up her other children. After she leaves, now Fumi wants to talk to them about how she feels treated by Tiffany. Which I thought, okay, Fumi, you should have said something to her. But anyways, when she's saying, she's not receiving the warmest welcome from her. And all of them said, come to the event that she has going on and just talk to her about it. And then you can go. Or if however the conversation ends, then possibly you just stay. All right, so this next part had me in tears. Sentimental tears. Stormy, she's having this photo shoot, and she wants it to be very regal and editorial. Chanel Hudson O'Connor, she is kind of advising, chief editor advisor, in regards to this photo shoot and what she has going on with this collab. Lala Anthony shows up. We find out that Lala was the one that hit up Stormy. And it's so great, because normally it's like, thank you, Lala, for wanting to do this. But I'm really enjoying this, out of Lala actually being the one to seek her out. And there is a lot of Lala is pouring into Stormy, and a lot of praise as far as Stormy's creativity that's on the scene. Like, you could tell that there is a mutual respect and honor, and it's just not like, oh, you're the celeb, so I gotta honor you. No, it's mutual. I love that out of Lala, and I love that Stormy is getting that. And I'll be the first one to just say that I have really underestimated Stormy, because I'm just in total awe as to what all comes with Stormy Steele. I really am. Stormy is waiting on the boxes to come in. It's supposed to come in 3 days before the live. And then she said that she has set up, while this 48-hour, I think it's a 48-hour live or something, a Canvas creative camp. They will all be in one house for a week to produce content. And I think this is for the stuff that's going to be releasing during this live. Stormy goes on to say that she was a college dropout. I immediately went into tears. She said that she was 24 credit hours away from getting her BFA in painting and photography. And she said that's why there's certain creative flows that she's in, and she's able to really give her input on the photo shoot and all of that, artistically wise. But I cried knowing all that Stormy has built. People were down in her name and her vision. And it's like you almost finish where you think that you're supposed to do, because you're supposed to go to college and finish and hit the ground running. All that didn't happen the way that it's supposed to be. And she's still out there making history. And it's encouraging me in ways where I really have felt behind. And I want to move forward, and I'm grateful for someone like Stormy to inspire me to, and aspire me to do so much greater than what I'm doing now. Shout out to you, Stormy. I may be late, and I may have slept on you, but I'm woke, and I love what you're doing. We move on to Kayla. We see her doing her thing. She's showing us as far as how she is training the talent to go out there to be a talent in the force and to be hired for different jobs. Next, Jason shows up with flowers. Jason does not live in Birmingham. He lives in Dallas. He's into marketing. And then my eyebrow went up right away. I was like, here we go with another marketer. But I can't do that. I can't just put my eyebrow for that. But I was like, okay, here we go. She says, look, y'all want to question me about being with an older man. Look, I was married for 18 years. I'm grown now. So marrying someone in my age bracket and all that stuff, it ain't going to work. So if she met him at 17, I guess she got married at 18. So she's like 36. So someone who's 36 is just not going to be compatible to her, because she's already done it. So she does feel like she needs someone more of her speed, which is an older dude. I guess I can understand that now, instead of just labeling her as this person that's got daddy issues, per se. Unless she just starts talking a little bit more about the stuff that's going on. But what she's saying up front, all I can do is dig it. So Kayla is at the point where she wants to tell her children about Jason. Now she lets us know what's up. Now, she just finalized her divorce 4 months ago, but had been seeing Jason for now a year. So, oh, okay. Normally when people split up, I mean, a lot of people do date, or they will just wait until the divorce is final. It's going to be quite crazy because they already felt like the rug was pulled up from under them, because they waited a long time to even say that, okay, well, they're getting a divorce and it's almost finalized. And now you're about to spring out with this other man. And it could feel like a betrayal. She does feel like the older ones will probably feel like, okay, what are y'all doing to us? You know? She says that she always wants her children to respect their father. She's never spoke ill about him and all that. And that's good. That's good. And that was it for their scene. Jason was kind of like a little nervous in regards to that, but I guess she's ready to start doing it. Anyways, look, this next part, I was so excited to see. And I have a question to ask you all. Now, Stormy is with her Canvas Creative Bootcamp. They all sit down, and guess who has arrived? Cousin Junior. I actually asked Mr. Carlos if Cousin Junior going to be on this show. And he didn't answer me. He just said, I love Junior. Anyways, I called, and Kingdom Reign and Mr. Carlos have answered. My boy Junior is going to be on this show. So happy. So happy. Shout out to Junior. He's sitting right next to her if you didn't see him. If you watched Love and Marriage Huntsville, you know who I'm talking about. But it's the guy that's sitting right next to him, to Stormy, on the couch. Well, there is a boot camp meeting right now. And these content creators go out and they really sell the product, or try to sell the product. We meet Delano and Faith in particular. Delano talks in regards to when they went out to try to, market this whatever product that they had. Faith was hijacking her customers while he was getting people on her end. She was just coming right on in and trying to take them from him on the slide. But he caught everything and actually filmed everything. Faith is feeling some type of way because why didn't you tell me that in the moment? You're throwing me under the bus. She's embarrassed. That's what it is. She's embarrassed. So she starts crying. And then she was like, oh, it looks like you just need an audience. And Stormy's like, well, I asked the question the way that I asked it. And at that point, he decided to expound on something and all that. Like, look, we're a team, and I don't know if she said family, but we're going to be around, and everything you're not going to like about each other, but we got to be able to still work along with each other. It's a critique. Delano did say that he did lose respect for her, because at the same point, you are trying to turn around and be the victim, but you're the one that did the offense. Where's the apology at, Faith? You're just embarrassed right now. And I get it, but you're just embarrassed, and you just think that, oh my God, why would you do that to me? He did it to you. Now what? That's all I gotta say, just take accountability and all that. Okay, so as you were watching this scene, my wheels started turning. What do you guys think of another spinoff with this creative camp, or something like this? For them to have that type of conflict and able to do what they do and maneuver with Stormy and all that. Now, I think it's kind of more of Issa Rae's lane. However, look, Carlos King is the king of reality, so he should be able to whip something together. Would you like to see something like that, where creatives are kind of in a space together, going after the bag? I mean, we got realtors that are chasing after their dreams. In the queer community, there's Chasing Reality. They have several franchises, Chasing Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas, LA. I think that it would be interesting to see these creatives come together. We got, of course, I already said all these reality shows like Selling Sunset. Let these creatives out here who are grinding every day to make it happen. I kind of could see a space for it. I would watch it too. So we shall see what happens. But y'all tell me your thoughts in regards to that. All right, so it's couples night. Couples game night. And they're wearing, and Tiffany and Willie are wearing some of their merch. I choose my husband or something to that nature. And he got the vice versa thing about wife. Amber's there because she's at the door or whatever. Stormy is under impression that she's working at the door. She comes in her African garment and she's like, I love wearing it, and that's why I'm wearing it again. Why do I have a feeling it was still the same day of this event, in my opinion? From Flumy's event to now it's nighttime. She said that she had to leave for her children, but I think Tiffany was setting up for this. That's just my opinion. But now she's saying that she's wearing it everywhere, storming. I don't think that I think that you do love it, but like that, yeah. Anyways, the game proceeds. I think even Fumi has arrived. Was it before or after? After, I guess. They start doing these games. One, they were doing a tic-tac-toe game, running to put their bean bags against whatever square they're supposed to be in and all that. And then the next game we see, I don't even know what they called it. But anyway, the husbands have a water bottle with the cap off in between their legs. The women have to get on their knees and try to put the straw through the water bottle. That's what they doing. Okay, prayer group. Get on your knees. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. What's that? Well, that's that other girl that I don't like. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's the Sexy Red. Ugh. Anyways, and I'm looking at Tiffany. I think she's the one that won. I said, for someone who don't swallow, you sure comfortable down there. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe that's the only thing you don't do down there. I guess. I don't know. I was just looking at you. But then Fumi said they really won. Well, who are you on the floor with, Fumi? If you were down there. Anyways, Fumi and Tiffany finally have their talk. To start off the conversation, Fumi said, look, this is what my objective is. Fumi is highly intelligent. She knows how to be emotionally intelligent. I think in the whole conversation, she's able to be clear and precise as to what's going on. Tiffany, on the other hand, is taking what she says in a different way. But anyway, Fumi says, I want to make sure that I feel good around you and you feel good around me. And then Tiffany asks, why would I not feel good? Why would we not feel good when we are around each other? She was about to explain. It's just her header, her beginning statement before she gets into her PowerPoint or into her points. So anyways, Fumi says, when you said I don't steal my best friend, I really didn't know how to take that, and it was just a little off-putting for me. Tiffany says that I don't recall saying it. I'm not going to say that I didn't say that, but I don't recall saying that. So the only indication to us, because it didn't air the way that we thought it was going to air, or it didn't air, of Tiffany saying that to her. However, Tiffany was in her confessional. Obviously, this was later. She did say, okay, Fumi, I guess you can borrow my best friend. If you put in your confessional and you didn't deny that, no. That's how you really felt. I don't know why you don't want to admit to it and be accountable or whatnot, but hey. Then Fumi says, everyone was warm welcoming but you. The vibe was off. And then Tiffany going to be arrogant and say, I know that I own the room. I'm very confident, and I don't think I did anything to make you feel that way. So, okay, you didn't do that. There's no other way that you could have came off to her instead of being arrogant and prideful in this whole situation. As to now you need to contend with her, all because now she is calling out things that she feels like they are off-putting, and let's see if we can come to a common ground, because her first statement is saying, look, I want us to be at a good place. And you were already questioning her. So that means that you were on guard and you were ready to react to her and not really listen to her to respond. And then Fumi says that I'm not intimidated by your confidence. Not at all. And it's true. Fumi walks into rooms flat-footed, knowing who she is. Nobody can call her small, make her feel small. She's going to let her presence know. And she doesn't do it in a way where she got to get your attention. No. She commands a room. And I respect that out of her. So, no. Ma'am, it's time to sit down. And I know you're about to do some other arrogant, pompous things on next week's episode, but Tiffany, you're doing what I know of what you would do. You're a church girl. That's just what it is. And it sounds very derogatory. I get it. And you could take offense to it. And oh well, if you do. But yeah, Tiffany, nah. You know what you said. You know how you feel about her. You're already saying in your confessional, which is taped later, that Fumi could talk a lot. So obviously you were annoyed by her by some degree. So you're doing this passive aggressive type of way, and then trying to manipulate as you're trying to lie about that story earlier about how Knox was consummated. Now, I wasn't there, and I don't know when God let the sperm and the egg meet. I don't believe it was on your honeymoon, though. It's a cute story to try to make us believe that that's what happened. No. And Willie is that stern on not having another child, meaning this was a oops baby, at least on his end. I think it was a oops baby. I think he was probably done when he had Titus, in my opinion. But he went on and said, let's go on and have this baby, and now I'm done. Tell me what y'all think about everything that I discussed, particular things about this canvas room, possibly being its own reality show in itself. Tiffany, does her story add up? Do you have any other thoughts about all of that? Brag a little bit about Stormy in this video. Brag a little bit about Lala in this story, in this review, please. What do you think about Fumi and all that good stuff? What do you think about this whole, who are you? You Amber and Kayla. And about this whole foo-la-la, because it seems very foo-la-la, despite what I saw in the trailer. So right now, flop for you. Amber at this point. So, hey, anyways, that's all I got for today. I appreciate you all for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one, peace.